Hello, my name is Magdalena Popescu, and I'm going to talk to you about tailoring education for new generations, skills for a dynamic labor market. I am an associate professor and I come from the National Defense University Carol I in Bucharest, Romania. The situation our country confronts with is goes along the trend with other countries from the Eastern European bloc in terms of unemployment or in terms of the connection between employment and education. Therefore, I'm going to share with you some thoughts on what Romania is doing in order to ensure a smooth transition from education to employment, because this is a very delicate issue when people, young people especially, need advice and they need efficient training. Um, this is especially a problem because the rate of unemployment is not very different from year to year. However, it has started to decrease since the new programs have been employed as a cooperation between academia and industry, between the beneficiaries and educational institutions. I'm speaking here about programs that ensure training, ensure job shadowing, or also we can speak about internship programs where young students, young adults develop skills that are needed for the labor market so that employers would not face the same lack of competencies and would enhance employability for students right after graduation. Um, of course, new trends in education rely heavily in technology. And when we speak about technology in education, we obviously speak about the new generations, the generations that grow with technology, generations that develop their life skills based on technology. They develop they spend their time in entertainment, in information, in education, all based on various technological devices, since technology is ubiquitous. And this thing reminds me of Michael Prensky, who actually coined the term digital natives in speaking about generations that were born after 1996, 1997. So the young adults nowadays, he called them digital natives because they have grown, and all the generations after grow with digital devices along, starting with playing and then developing cognitive, metacognitive, and even soft skills in being digital. This Michael Prensky, who coined the term digital natives, was looking at the older methods of education, and he was saying that we are working hard to educate new generations in old ways. And this is so because new generations are already different in what they need, in what they ask for, and in what they look at, in what they expect. So using tools that are no longer effective and not using technology, he wanted to say, would be a continuous failure. we would not achieve our goals in giving the students, giving the young adults what they need in order to face the ever emerging and the new demands of an ever-changing labor market. Speaking about digital natives, we need to think what differentiates them from the older generation. The new generations are multitasking. They get their information from various number of devices. They rely heavily on multimedia. They combine music with image, with text, and with pictures. They enjoy having multiple resources at hand in order to compare and contrast their information. They are very used to perform parallel thinking because they do multitasking. They watch TV and design a project. They listen to the radio and drive. They watch a movie and then work on the computer as well. Therefore, they grow up uh, developing and doing inordinate activities at the same time. That is why being spoon-fed is no longer an option in teaching them. Older adults and former generations are prone to sequential thinking, to single tasks, and to one-to-many kind of education, to brick and mortar kind of education. The new generations communicate differently. They no longer use face-to-face communication. They enjoy writing in order to communicate. They do shorthand. They have a various number of virtual friends um, because they enjoy networking. They play games in order to get trained, in order to get information, and in order to get entertained. They learn as well, but they learn in a different way. They learn by trial and error at their own self-pace. They no longer have the patience to be guided in each and every step. Technology is the answer for all this. Technology is a very useful tool, and educational systems around the world is giving uh, a great importance on developing applications in order to support knowledge transfer in various ways, either by games or by virtual learning environments, or even by developing various software, teaching software. What is still needed yet to look at is the pedagogy, the didactics that lays behind this, behind all the educational process that is based on technology. Uh, Therefore, I'm going to share with you some thoughts on the steps that need to be taken when designing a curriculum that is based on technology, when planning to implement technology in education. The core issue in the new process of education is the trainer who is no longer a teacher. The trainer is an orchestrator. He only moderates the network. He only moderates the activities that the students perform at their own pace, in the directions they decide, with the information they decide to pick, with the information that they decide to need. The trainer, however, needs to adapt. The trainer adapts his methods, the trainer adapts his approach in relation to learning style, students' learning style. He needs to adapt the resources based on the context, based on each and every student's goal. The social context where the learning takes place is very important since we consider that technology can enhance education both in school, at home, or even in motion. In various places, people decide to move because education and the educational process can be ubiquitous due to technological devices that are mobile, that are portable. Therefore, the social context can also be adapted in order for the educational transfer to be performed when the appropriate application is at hand. When designing the process of knowledge transfer, technology-based knowledge transfer, the beneficiary demands should also be an important aim, considering that we develop skills for the labor market. Students develop skills in order to meet the demands of a labor market, in order to meet the demands of the employers, and to have this transition very smooth and very short. The connection between school and industry should be very close to this end. Well, the trainer has a final relationship with the student. The trainer is no longer a direct approach to the student. He is also ubiquitous like technology and like the educational process, because due to technology, the trainer can be taken along anywhere due to mobile devices. Therefore, the content, the context, and the tools can adapt to the goal and can adapt to the student so that the educational process can be continuous. The skills can be formed on a rolling basis throughout the whole training period. Well, when we take them one at a time, we take context and tools. We need to look at students, first of all, we were saying, because students need to develop abilities. Therefore, we need to consider prior to deciding what tools are in use for particular skills. We need to know the students' abilities from the start, the levels they already have, the level of understanding and the level of knowledge they already have when the educational process starts. Considering this, we design and choose the appropriate method for each and every student. We tailor the educational process based on the student's need. We select the tools, the appropriate application, the appropriate software, and the appropriate devices. And then we need to decide how to warm up and how to wind down the training event to give it all a sense of closure. How much we insist on a certain aspect in the steps of the lesson, timing the events of the instruction. How we make use of everything, sequencing, timing, practice and class management. Which are the materials, which are the stages inside the applications that are conducive to the skills that we have in mind. What skills are stirred and what skills are boosted by the app and by the stages in the app that we have selected. Therefore, there is a complex process in selecting, in designing, and in choosing all these aspects that should be in a continuum to adapt to each and every student. Because all these are prior to the process of education. However, they go hand in hand with the process of education. This is because we deal with young adults, students at university, students in higher education are young adults, and young adults prefer self-direct learning. They want to diagnose their needs, and they want to formulate their own learning goals. They know what is best for themselves, and they decide which way to go. They enjoy identifying resources and implement their own learning strategies. Therefore, the instructor is seen as a resource provider, and the learner is seen as the course designer. We need to give freedom to the learner with the application to do and to create his own project in order to develop a self-paced um, improvement of abilities. Moreover, the learning styles are the ones that decide which parts of the selected application will serve one's educational needs. The learning theories are a very important aspect as well when the trainer decides which are the tools implemented in the revolutionary educational process. What is important is to look at the learner autonomy. Yes, the applications should give autonomy to the learners. It should provide openness and a varied content, multiple tools in order to have a variety where to select from, and enhance massive communication among learners, tools that allow community building are very well received, because one of the skills of the 21st century is communication and community and socializing, language as well. Therefore, applications that enhance community building and networking are very well received, and they can be the base for developing superior subsets of skills necessary for the labor market. Students create knowledge together. This is something to bear in mind, and they want and they also enjoy to explore ways to innovate together. Mm, they are actively engaged, and they they look for the key to building knowledge together. The sense of competitivity is a factor that also enhances the knowledge transfer, and competitiveness gives motivation and boosts self-confidence. Once we have, or once one has chosen the appropriate tools in order to develop skills for a labor market, for the new and emergent requirements of the labor market, one needs to look at the content and at the goals for the training process. Therefore, course design and the 21st century curriculum are elements to be looked at. Course design is based on certain factors that look at learnability, that is, selecting the application, we need to see how easy it is for for the users to accomplish basic tasks the first time they encounter the application. Efficiency, once they have used and they have learned the design, how quickly do they remember and do they come back to the application um, once once they have gotten out of the system. This goes hand in hand with memorability. Satisfaction is another factor as well. How pleasant it is to use the virtual learning system, which are the benefits and the drawbacks that the system offers. Is the design appropriate for the ability that we want to build? Does it help both the student and the instructor in accomplishing the task? All these are elements to be looked at in the course design. Basically, in um, deciding how to deal with the application and how to implement it in the training process, which are the steps to be used and which are the steps to be left aside from the tool in the learning and in the training stages. Considering that the curriculum for the 21st century focuses on students that need to know, they need to possess the information, they need to know how to live together, they need to know how to do things or how to be for themselves, how to be independent. We need to look at students' interests and experience and to focus and to use the talent each and every student has. We need to respect students' freedom of learning and allow them to choose for themselves whatever comes appropriate from technology to be developed uh, for their own future goals. Having all this in mind, we look at the Bloom's taxonomy, the digital approach, since we mentioned virtual learning environments, and we see that evaluating and creating are the highest order skills. What we can say about the generations nowadays, the young adults nowadays, we have concluded that by growing up with using technology already, our students also are in control of video casting, podcasting, of blog commenting, moderating, and collaborating. They are in control already with constructing and devising, with filming and animating, with collaborating and commenting. However, they are not so much in control of remembering, understanding, and analyzing. Our plan, therefore, is to use the skills that they already have, skills that they come somehow inborn with, creating and evaluating the skills that let technology be something at very own hand, and channel these skills in order to redevelop lower skills, which is ironic indeed, like applying, understanding, and remembering. Students need to learn again how to analyze. They need to learn how to be critical, how to compare